Hey guys, Boston Ramos, and yep, Miami Dolphins lost to the Minnesota Vikings, 24-16. Tough game. Tough game for the Miami Dolphins. To put it in the least amount of words, what the fuck happened? What happened this game? I don't know what to tell you guys, but some things I could tell you is Miami Dolphins lost 24-16. Flip the script of last week. We had, Teddy being the starter. Boom. Scotty Thompson plays the whole game. This week, Scotty Thompson's the starter. Teddy plays the whole damn game. All right. Scotty Thompson got hurt with a thumb injury some way through the second quarter. Unfortunate. Dolphins were able to move the ball with Skyler. Unfortunately, penalties set back this team a lot. Especially on one drive, there was like 5 consecutive penalties. 5 or 4, whatever. Penalties galore. Then Teddy got in. Does all right. Throw an interception to Harrison Smith. You be the judge. Was it clear that he corralled the ball? Didn't allow for the reception to happen. Adam Thielen scores a touchdown. Mike Gesicki scores a touchdown. It hits a little gritty. It more looks like a skedaddle than anything than a gritty. And the final nail in the coffin. Miami native Dalvin Cook gets a 50-plus yard rushing touchdown. I mean, it can't get any worse for this Miami Dolphins team, but somehow did. So yeah, Miami Dolphins dropped to 3-3. Minnesota improves to 5-1. Congrats to them. They're leading the NFC North as it is. Miami Dolphins, in fact, are third in the AFC East, behind Buffalo, who's 4-1, who is currently, as I'm making this video, playing the Kansas City Chiefs. New York won against the Green Bay Packers. My goodness. They're 4-2. Miami Dolphins 3-3. New England 3-3. Not looking good in terms of the AFC East. Meanwhile, in the NFC North, Minnesota is 5-1. Green Bay is 3-3. Chicago 2-4. Detroit 1-4. Let's go over some of the team stats. Minnesota had a total of 234 yards. Miami Dolphins 458. Dolphins committed to 3 turnovers. Abysmal. Time of possession 24 minutes 31 seconds for the Minnesota Vikings. 35 minutes 29 seconds for the Miami Dolphins. First downs. Minnesota had 11. Miami had 23. I know. This is a game the Miami Dolphins should have won. Yes, 100%. This is a game that is kind of payback in terms of, similar looking stats to the Green Bay Packers. The Buffalo Bills versus Miami Dolphins game a couple weeks ago at home. Kind of flipped the script. Miami Dolphins should not have won that game. They won the game. Minnesota should have not won this game whatsoever. Miami Dolphins defense was locking it down. Offense just couldn't get going. On top of that, penalties on penalties just stalled the Miami Dolphins offense from competing in this game. Scoring goes field goal Miami Dolphins, touchdown Minnesota Vikings, field goal Minnesota. Then we go into the fourth quarter. Touchdown Minnesota, touchdown Dolphins, touchdown Minnesota, touchdown Miami Dolphins. It's very unfortunate. This Miami Dolphins team should have been able to compete within this game, and don't want to pin it so much on the refs, but the Miami Dolphins were screwed over by the refs in this game. Tell me how the Miami Dolphins are in the red zone, right? And there is 4 to 5 consecutive penalties against the Miami Dolphins. Every time the Miami Dolphins just inch closer and closer and closer and closer to the end zone. Off or not, then we end up settling for a field goal, which is missed by Jason Sanders. With that being said, let's get into the team stats. The box score. So, Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins went 20 of 30, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked for a loss of 3 sacks for a loss of 19 yards. Teddy Bridgewater was the Miami Dolphins' leading passer. But let's get to Skylar Thompson first. 7 of 13, 89 yards, one sack for a loss of 8 yards. Teddy Bridgewater came in for the most part of the last 3 quarters. 23 of 34, 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks, of 25 yards. Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook had 13 carries, 77 yards, 1 touchdown. Longest was 53. That was a touchdown run. CJ Ham, Alexander Madison both combined for 1 carry, 3 yards. And Kirk Cousins, 2 carries, 5 yards. Tough. Miami rushing, Raheem Mostert led the team with 49 total yards, 14 carries. Longest was 16. Teddy Bridgewater, 1 carry, 10 yards. Skylar Thompson, 1 carry, 9 yards. Chase Edmonds, 2 carries, 3 yards. Alec Ingold, 1 carry, 2 yards, which was a crucial first down. Clayton Feldrum had a carry for not even a yard, which was a 4th down fake punt that should have gone the Dolphins' way. It was right there. More of the story is a lot of things did not go in the Dolphins' favor in this game. Whether it was up to the officials, whether it was up to their play, not a lot of things going in terms of Miami Dolphins' favor. So Minnesota recovered 2 fumbles. One was by Cameron Bynum, and another was by Justin Jefferson off of the Irvin Smith fumble. Jalen Phillips recovered one of the fumbles lost, and Jalen Waddle fumbled one, lost one, and Javion Holland fumbled one, went out of bounds. Tough game for the Miami Dolphins. I almost nearly lost my voice, which almost happens every home game, believe it or not. But tough game to just watch and hope and pray your team does good. But yeah, Minnesota defense, Jordan Hicks led the team with 11 total tackles, 8 solo, 1 sack, 1 pass deflection, 2 QB hits. Eric Hendricks had 11 total, 7 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Darnell Hunter had 6 total, 5 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackle for a loss, and 3 QB hits. Harrison Smith had 2 pass deflections. Cameron Bynum had 1 pass deflection. Zadarius Smith had 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 2 QB hits. 4 QB hits, my apologies. Patrick Peterson had 3 pass deflections. Chandon Sullivan had a tackle for a loss, a pass deflection. Patrick Jones II had a sack, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, 2 QB hits. I think they all came on the same freaking plays. Harrison Phillips had a QB hit, and Jonathan Bullard had a QB hit. As for the Miami Dolphins defense, Landon Roberts was the leading tackler, 7 total tackles, 3 solo, 1.5 sacks, 1 total tackle for a loss, 2 QB hits. Brandon Jones next with 6 total, 3 solo, 1 pass deflection. Christian Wilkins, 2 tackles for a loss. Xavier Howard, 1 pass deflection. Raekwon Davis, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Jalen Phillips with half a sack, 3 QB hits. And that's pretty much it, aside from Trey Flowers having a QB hit. Noah Benogany got some playtime. Looked decent, but abysmal game for the Miami Dolphins defense. I went over the receiving stats, which my apologies. Justin Jefferson led the Minnesota Vikings, 6 receptions, 107 yards. Longest was 47 yards. Adam Thielen, 4 receptions, 36 yards, 1 touchdown, longest of 14. KJ Osborne, 3 receptions, 18 yards. Irv Smith, 4 receptions, 7 yards, 1 touchdown. Dalvin Cook, 1 reception, 6 yards. And John Mundit, 2 receptions, 1 yard. Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, 12 receptions, 177 yards, longest of 28. Jalen Waddle, 6 receptions, 129 yards. Mike Gesicki, 6 receptions, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chase Edmonds, 2 receptions, 28 yards. Alec Ingold, 2 receptions, 10 yards. And Trent Sherfield, 1 reception, 6 yards. River Craycraft, Tanner Connor, and Raheem Mostert each were targeted about 2 times. No receptions. Raheem Mostert got 1 for -1 yards. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. So Patrick Peterson came down with an interception, returned for 6 yards. Harrison Smith returned a touchdown, interception for no yards. Interception we went over earlier. Tough. Kick returns. Raheem Mostert had a 25-yard return. Jalen Reagor had 3 punt returns for a total of 36 yards, longest of 25. Miami Dolphins punt returns. Javon Holland, 2 punt returns for 4 yards. Tyreek Hill, 1 punt return for -2 yards. Kicking, Greg Joseph, former Miami Dolphin. Luckily, he was battling Jason Sanders for the starting spot. 1 for 1 on field goals, 1 for 2 on extra points. Jason Sanders, 1 for 2 on field goals, 1 for 1 on extra points. Minnesota punting, Ryan Wright had 10 punts for 444 yards, 6 of which were in the 20, longest of 73. Thomas Morstead, 6 punts, 307 yards, 1 touchback, 2 were in the 20, longest of 63. All right. Now it's time to go over what I mentioned in the game preview. So in the game preview, I said, get to Kirk Cousins. Miami Dolphins were able to do that quite a bit. Matter of fact, Miami Dolphins defense hit Kirk Cousins 7 times, sacked him 3 times. I mean, you can't ask for more, but at the same time, you want to see more, right? On top of that, limit Dalvin Cook, 77 yards rushing, 6 yards receiving. Without that 53-yard carry for a touchdown, he has, almost barely 40 yards total. I mean, is this a game Miami Dolphins should have won? 100%. Is this a game Miami Dolphins won? At all. Lost 24-16. The scoreboard doesn't tell you. Offensively, how the script has flipped. Last week, Teddy's a quarterback. Boom! Teddy goes down. First drive. Scotty Thompson plays the entire game. Right? This game, Scotty Thompson's a quarterback. Boom, boom, boom. Scotty Thompson's a quarterback. You're like nonstop, right? Teddy plays pretty much damn near the whole game, almost over 3 quarters. I haven't been this frustrated with the Miami Dolphins loss in a long time. And this is a game 100% Miami Dolphins should have won. But unfortunately they didn't. And I have to admit to that. I mean, that's part of it, what it is. And now the Dolphins are sitting at 3-3 after starting off 3-0. It's very unfortunate. Anyways, offensively, I said run the ball, wasn't effective. Total to 73 total yards. The leading rusher was Raheem Mostert with 49. And then it was protect Scotty Thompson. I get it. Dumb injury, kind of weird deal. But I wish we would have been able to see Scotty Thompson for at least more than just one half. You know, Scotty did well enough to help, but still some rookie rust there. I don't know how you would say it, but just rookie nerves, whatever it may be. He didn't seem comfortable there, but honestly, on a drive that you're penalized almost over 5 times trying to get in the red zone or get past the red zone, get into pretty much the end zone, and it doesn't work out. It's very unfortunate. Enough of that. The Miami Dolphins dropped to 3-3. Minnesota improves to 5-1. It's very unfortunate. We are sitting third in the division behind the New York Jets, who are surprisingly 4-2. Buffalo 4-1. Currently facing the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm expecting Kansas City to win, but who knows, because that's one of the more anticipated and one of the more, electric games of this season so far. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Buffalo can drop one to go to 4-2 and make it a little bit easier for Miami to get back within the race for the AFC East crown, but it is what it is. That being said, the Miami Dolphins do host Sunday Night Football next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hopefully things can get turned around there. Hopefully, maybe, just maybe, Tua can get back in the lineup and things can change. But the rest of the schedule going forward until the bye week is favorable for the Miami Dolphins. Home versus Pittsburgh Steelers, Sunday Night Football. At Detroit versus the Lions, 1 o'clock p.m. At Chicago versus the Bears, 1 o'clock p.m. And then home versus the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is not back by then. And then they go into the bye week. I mentioned last video with saying I haven't made a quarter of season review. I will make a mid-season review after the Cleveland Browns game. I will. I promise. But right now, it's very frustrating to see this team without Tua at the helm, controlling this offense. That being said, I'm liking what I'm seeing from the team all around. I think the receivers are doing well. I think the running backs can take a step up. And then defensively, we're right there. If competent quarterback play is complementary to the defense, completely different situation going on right now. The Dolphins could easily be 5-1, just like the Minnesota Vikings. That being said, controversial interception. On top of that, just unfortunate sequence of events. You go into the game hoping a quarterback can play well, gets injured. Literally, same thing happened last week. The quarterback that comes in does decent, but turnovers kill your team. Imagine last week, Miami Dolphins were within the game, 19-17. Next thing you know, a couple of turnovers happen, lose the game 40-17. This week, Dolphins are within the game, turnover happens, Minnesota instantly scores a touchdown off of it, and now the Dolphins are fighting a way harder game than what they were into at that time. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go too much continuing on this, but hopefully things offensively can go better, especially at the quarterback position. Hopefully we figure out if Tua can come back soon. If not, figure out who is the starter between Teddy and Skyler. Hopefully Dolphins make the right choice. I'm not going to say who should be or who should not be. I think we've seen competent quarterback play from the two respectfully between the last 3 games. And it's tough. You want to see the best. And unfortunately, Dolphins have been fighting demons within themselves. So it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.